So this is James's dinner for August the 28th, 2018. And it's a kind of turnover thing that I made that's a Scarborough Fare, F-A-R-E, kind of meal, because it has parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme in it. So it's a common autumn flavoring dish for many people in our culture. And there's a lot of turnip in there. Or sorry, not turnip, rutabaga. I was thinking about putting the turnip in, but I had the rutabaga and I put the rutabaga in. I'll use the turnip for something else. But that's the most of it. And then there's some other things in there. You know, carrot, and I put celery seed in also. And green onions and garlic. You know what, I can't really remember. Anyway, the pastry is teff based with kale pulp, and I made this little heart on top with it. It's kind of like a sandwich cookie I made, but that's a teff based pastry too. So anyway, and sauerkraut and salad with EVOO and balsamic vinegar. And I normally, with the almonds, I put sliced, or with the raspberries, I put sliced almonds. But this time I put pumpkin seeds, just because we had a cauliflower crust pizza last night around midnight that had a lot of ground almonds in it. So I figure he probably doesn't need any almonds today, at least not right away. So I put that instead, and then some radishes and garlic bread, because he loves garlic bread. So we'll see how he likes this meal. I gave him a couple gross juices there, and a plum for dessert if he wants the plum. There we go. And while he's eating that, I'm going to talk about my heap of reading that I did while James was away. I made the turnover while James was away. I made quite a lot of food while James was away. James is like anti-anxiety medication for me, his presence. And so I ate it. I didn't stop with the one chocolate muffin. I ate all 6. And anyway, I'm doing better now. Come and sit down. Enjoy. And okay, so the first thing I'll talk about is Brigsby Bear. What an awesome movie! I don't want to give any of it away. When I saw Mark Hamill's name as one of the actors in this movie, I almost didn't pick it out from the library. But they couldn't have cast anybody for that role better than Mark Hamill. He was perfect for this. And if he doesn't do anything else in his career, and maybe he shouldn't in his acting career, this made it all worthwhile. So definitely watch this movie. So good.
The force was with him, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
There you go. See?
And the people who cast him, honestly. It was great. East West 101. I watched this while James was away, and the series 2, and honestly, I did not care for it. So, anyway, although the man is very handsome. Detox Kitchen Vegetables. I didn't find a lot of useful recipes in here. I love the layout of the book. It's actually a nice book to hold in your hands and read. And I love the orange color. I like how the letters are, what do you call that? When it's stuck in like that. So you can run your fingers over and it feels wonderful. So there's a lot of things that I do like about this book. But if you want
Maybe
to go on...
Or is that the opposite?
That's the opposite, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, you're right. A boss is something that sticks out. Anyway.
So you go ahead and eat, James.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything here. So, everyone should detox every once in a while. Go on a detox. And this book won't help you with that. Now, this book will help you learn how to cook with different kinds of vegetables that you're not familiar with cooking with. Now, there are ingredients in here that are very much not detoxed ingredients as far as I'm concerned. Cooking with olive oil, not a good idea. And they had rapeseed oil for frying in here, which, I mean, if you want to go on a detox and take in GMOs while that doesn't make sense, right? But anyway, this book will teach you how to use different things. Like, we have a few marrow squash which have been given to us, and honestly I don't care for them that much. So this book, marrow, there you are. So that book will help with stuff like that. Now this, I did make the cauliflower crust recipe on 144, page 144 yesterday, and delicious. What did you think about it? The pizza?
It's quite good.
Yeah. Great way to get a lot of cauliflower into your diet, especially if you like pizza, and everyone does. Now, which one will I talk about next? This one, Precautionary Tale, by Philip Ackerman Least. And honestly, this was dreadful for me to get through. So boring, really, for me. I don't know if I really... How one small town banned pesticides, preserved its food heritage, and inspired a movement. Well, I don't know that, like what they were doing, the people who lived in this town did not want the apple production in the town. And for land to be preserved for rye and spelt production over apples, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like pesticides being used and allowed to be spread to other people's property. It doesn't make any sense to me that polluters don't have to manage their own pollution. That where we are right now in the world it's the other way around. You have to protect yourself from other people polluting your space, which is... it's crazy to me. But anyway, I did learn a few things, like Otzi the Iceman. He ate bread. He ate, they found, 3 grains on his clothes. One of them was spelt. The other was probably rye. I can't remember. You know what, I think it was spelt, rye, and millet, but look in the book if you care. Or find it elsewhere, honestly. It'd be less boring. I think I already spoke about this book, and that's why I put the celery seed. I've been putting it on there because in my food I've been using celery seed more lately. I actually like the flavor of celery seed more than the flavor of celery, strangely. And it's anti-anxiety, apparently. So that was The Woman's Herbal Apothecary by J.J. Purcell, and I didn't find that there was enough information on every different herb. Like usually, or whatever, there's 3 to a page, which doesn't give a lot of information for each one, right? And so I'm not really going to trust the concoctions that the person fills up a lot of space in the book with if there's not a lot of information showing me that this person knows how to put these things together and why, right? And I didn't get that from reading the book, so it's not that useful for me. But I learned the thing about celery seeds, so yay. Oh, I may as well get this one off my lap. Greater Waterton. Oh my gosh, not the book for me. And I love Waterton, but I do not like black and white photography, and I realize this is historical and they didn't have the option of color. So if you're into looking at a bunch of pictures of people with mountains in the background.
See, that's Andy Russell there. Is that what it say?
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? See?
So see, this would be more interesting for James.
Of course. See?
Yeah, because he likes history and stuff like that. But for me, I want more pictures maybe of the waterfalls and stuff, and I don't know. I'm this is not the book for me. That's all. Book for James, not for me. So I can hold that one back if you want to give it a read. The Walls Protocol, Cooking for Life by Terry Walls, MD, with Eve Adamson. So that Eve Adamson probably wrote more of it. I don't know. Anyway.
She'd be the ghostwriter, wouldn't she?
That's what my guess is. But it's interesting that so many, in order to get people to read diet books, they have to be written by MDs, which these guys know nothing about nutrition. But in order for people to actually pick up the book, it seems you got to have that on there. I don't understand it at all. It's a very strange world we live in. Now, the first Walls Level 1, you eat 9 cups of fruits and vegetables every day, broken down 3 cups or 6 cups loosely packed of kale, collard, Asian greens, lettuces, darker greens, blah, blah, blah. 3 cups of colored vegetables, fruits, berries, tomatoes, peppers, beets, carrots, winter squash. 3 cups of sulfur-rich vegetables, broccoli, cabbage, mushrooms, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, turnip, radishes, onions, garlic. Okay, so, and with that you're eating some omega-3 fish and some other oils like flaxseed, hemp, walnut, and coconut, only coconut oil to cook with, which I agree with totally. Now, if you're thinking 9 cups of fruits and vegetables every day is tough, that's not. And I do think this is one of the places where you need to start, right? Is increasing your vegetable intake, especially the sulfur-rich vegetables and the leafy greens. And then, I mean, it's easy for you to eat the other ones. James loves, are you loving the tomatoes? Yeah. And the raspberries, they're going to go down really well. And probably that purple plum over there, it's going to be easy for him. But some of the other things, like the sauerkraut, he ate first. With the cabbage, right?
Well, it's a bit sour.
It's a bit sour.
I still like sauerkraut.
That's good. And the radishes might be a little tough for him too. But he's gotten through his kale that was on the top of the...
Yeah, that was the one that I got rid of.
And I put Swiss chard in his salad for the greens, so we'll see how that works out for him. Anyway, so I don't have any problem with that. He eliminates the gluten right away, the dairy, eggs, artificial sweeteners, and he limits other sweeteners. And then with Walls Paleo Level 2, or sorry, that's terrible, because I'm thinking MD, usually the MDs that write these books are men, but in this case the Terry is actually a woman. Sorry about that. That was a kind of subconscious sexist thing that I just did, and I did not even pick up on it until I was already speaking.
Yeah, Terry's more common guy's name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It'll change.
He always tries to make me feel better when I screw up. Anyway, the level 2, so you go from the level 1 to level 2, all of a sudden you're adding seaweed and algae food products. Because the algae stuff is, you're getting the omega-3 and it's cleaner. If you're wanting omega-3, high omega-3 in a clean form, it's better to eat the algae rather than the, even, what do you call it? Krill. Or definitely the cold water fish, which, you know, if I can get omega-3s into James however I can, that's good. He ate a lot of sardines while he was away from me. and I'm happy that he ate those. I packed them in his lunchbox. But anyway, and then 1 serving a day of the fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, and he just ate a sauerkraut. Now, what I think is, why on earth are you putting that in level 2? Why don't you just start with that? It's really easy. Making your own sauerkraut is easy, and Terry Walls does not know how to do it. If you go to page 32, fermented red cabbage, this recipe, you use already fermented cabbage or a probiotic capsule as a starter. You don't need to do that. Obviously, this person used to make their own yogurt, and when you make your own yogurt, you need a starter. Or when you make your own probiotic drink, that's either the soy-based ones or the dairy, you need a starter. You need to start it. Not with the sauerkraut, not with the kimchi. You don't need to do that. Look up a different recipe. Don't use this one. This person does not know what they're doing. So anyway, rather than pumping that seaweed and algae in your level 2, why don't you just start with that? Every single diet, if you're eating garlic toast every day and you love it and you don't want to give it up right now, or you're eating pizza every day and whatever, just put a little sauerkraut on your plate every now and then. James got through it. And then level 3 is Paleo Plus, and so you're taking a lot of coconut oil in and stuff like that, and then you eliminate your lots of things, the legumes, and you're actually reducing how much vegetables you're taking in, and you're reducing your fruits and stuff like that. I do not agree with this. This is I don't have a problem with people going into ketosis every now and then. You know, if we're going on a hike, say we leave here after supper and we drive and we go sleep in the car, which that's what we do normally because we don't want to pay for a motel and we hate camping. So setting up a tent, we've had a lot of problems with that, and so we choose the car. So
actually,
anyway,
canvas attracts precipitation.
it
too.
seems to, yeah. That's been our experience. I think we've gotten rained on every time we've set up the tent, so we just stopped.
I think if you checked with other people, you'd find it's common across the country.
I don't know what it is. There could be no rain in the prediction and somehow it rains on us. So anyway, we've been sleeping in the car and it works out a lot better for us. So
It doesn't rain.
No. We drive out to where we're going. The evening before is best, and then you get your start out right away, hiking, right away in the morning. So if you're not eating since supper, you're sleeping, and right when you're going to be hiking, you really don't want to eat. You drink some water, you go for your hike, and you get back and you eat. So that gives you a long window where you're definitely going to be going into ketosis. Do I have a problem with that? No, not every once in a while, but using coconut oil as your fuel, and that's, not cheap coconut oil, you're using a high quality one because you don't want any of the trans fats or whatever else toxins that might be in there, so you're using good quality coconut oil, and that's what you're burning as energy rather than carbohydrates. It doesn't even make sense. And then you're eliminating all of these healthy nutrients from your diet. I don't think that's healthy on a regular basis. Anyway, so I already talked about the fermented cabbage, which don't use the recipe in this book because they don't know what they're doing. Daily detox juice with wild greens, page 106, 107, is basically my gross juice. Only they're putting 2 Granny Smith's apples in the, see, I'm saying they because I don't know if it's Eve Adamson or Terry. Anyway, who put this in?
Usually when it says with,
it's probably Eve.
it means with
Yeah.
ghostwriter.
Yeah, so,
I do like her name, Eve and Adam combined.
yeah, it's nice.
Parents
Very smart.
had a sense of humor.
So, 2 Granny Smith apples, are right in the juice, which I don't. Eat the apples with the pectin. Eat the whole apple. I love Granny Smith. It's my favorite apple. Eat the whole thing. Now the lime, I don't have a problem with that. I put lemon lime in my juicer. Awesome. The wild greens, they're only putting 1 cup or up to 2 cups of these, whether you're on, if you're on the Paleo Plus or the, and honestly, that's not a lot. If you have only 1 cup of dandelion greens, you're going to have like 1 drop of dandelion juice. And then they're adding 4 cups of water to that to sip throughout the day. Now, if you're actually ingesting enough of those healthy greens and the turmeric and the ginger and the black pepper, like they're basically doing my thing here, you don't want to dilute that and have to sip it throughout the day. You just slam that back and get that over with. Chase it with some water. Chase it with, you wanted 4 cups? Sure, chase it with 4 cups of water. But this is not enough greens. And, it's just because they're wild greens, they're not necessarily interacting in the best way with the turmeric. So why not use your cruciferous greens, which will react favorably with the turmeric, like I do. So mine's better. And then, page 212, at first I thought this was just paleo, and I'd flip this open, and it's a fava bean and bacon soup. And I'm like, what in the world? Why are they having beans when they're paleo? Well, they're not when they're Paleo Plus. They've given that up, but anyway. Fava beans contain nutrients that help your body manufacture dopamine, which is important for conditions that tend to involve low dopamine levels, such as Parkinson's anxiety and attention deficit disorder. Use fresh So, useful. And I will be trying this recipe. I will not be making it with bone broth. I'll be making it with shiitake broth. And I will just leave the coconut milk for James, because I don't think I should have that, especially not after I ate 6 muffins.
Hopefully you're leaving the bacon out too, right?
Oh yeah, I'll be using liquid smoke. That's it. So, but aside from that, I'm totally gonna make that soup the way it is. Walls fudge, page 262. Wow, that's like pure fat, which...
It looks awful.
Well...
What is in it?
Coconut, so it might taste good.
Oh, maybe.
So you put like 1 part coconut oil, avocado, raisins, walnuts, and then half part dried unsweetened coconut, and then a little bit
half a
of...
cup. Is that what you meant?
No, just half a part. Like you could make however much you want.
Oh, I see
you
what
could
you're saying.
make it.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't have to make only this much.
Okay, you're right.
Or make this much. You could make it in tiny little batches if you want to. Whatever. And a little bit of cocoa powder to make it chocolatey. Anyway, it might be good, but it's just, there's so much fat there. So unless you're full-on ketogenic, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay. I'm just going to see if the camera is still going for me, because I was talking about that for a long time. I have a few minutes left. I'll see if I can get this underway.
Oh, this is another MD here.
You saved the best part for the next meal?
Well, I can only eat so much, right?
Okay. Anyway, Food by Mark Hyman, MD. What the heck should I eat? And honestly, I enjoy reading these books, but I don't drink the Kool-Aid. So there are a lot of things that are true in his books, and there's a lot of truth you can find in a lot of diet books or whatever. And now they're calling them lifestyle books because diets don't work. Well, it's a diet book.
Well, he's ugly enough to be a doctor. Do you think that's one of the qualifications to be a doctor?
Oh, he looks fairly healthy. I actually like reading his stuff.
Guy, you know?
So I would recommend that everybody does, but then do a little research for yourself and what did I
Looks as though this is his 5th book, or one of 5 books.
He's done quite
He's
a
a
bit
machine,
now.
eh?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much of these things they write themselves, right? I don't know. Even when there's no other name on there, I wonder about the ghostwriting. Because, say, Trump's books, they're not written by Trump. But they don't have anyone's else's name on them.
Well, who would want to own up to writing that stuff, right?
Oh, I think it's a woman.
Is that true?
I think so. I think I've looked into that.
Anyway. I wonder if he grabbed her and she just did whatever he said.
Oh, one thing. Beans aren't paleo, he says. Agriculture invented 10,000 years ago. That was page 171, I think. He does not like beans. He says they're not a good protein source, contain potentially inflammatory proteins that trigger inflammation for some with autoimmune disorders. They contain lectins and phytates, which damage our intestinal lining, prevent us from absorbing all the nutrients we need. Anyway, so
thanks for the contribution.
Thank you. I have read that the lectin level decreases when you sprout things, so seeds included and beans. So, like, what I do is I sprout. I sprout my beans and then I cook them. And you know what? I don't have any problem with them. The paleo people that suggest that beans weren't eaten by people until they were invented by agriculture is absolutely ridiculous. I wish these people would say this to themselves out loud so they could actually hear the lie, because it's obvious. If you start, say you decide, oh, I'm going to plant some things near my house and care for them so I don't have to go out and forage. What are you going to plant? Are you going to plant just some random things that you haven't been eating? Or are you going to go find some things that you eat every day out while you're foraging, and you're going to plant those at home because you want to eat them more easily? You want them there at your house. You don't want to have to go forage where some tiger might eat you or whatever. So you're planting this stuff in your home base. You're planting the stuff that you eat every day. So you would have been harvesting beans if you were a person alive 1,000,000 years ago, and all of a sudden, once agriculture, you've decided, oh, I can grow this. I don't have to go out and forage and risk my life and whatever. Okay, you're going to grow what you eat. That's what you're going to grow. It's ridiculous. So he's like telling you to avoid beans if you're page 185. If all of these things, if you have belly fat, if you have this, you have that. Now, when I lost weight over the winter, I was eating, most of my protein diet was from lentils, sprouted lentils cooked, but beans, whatever. And I lost a ton of weight. So it's baloney. It's a big lie. And I mean, the whole paleo thing's just based on lies. It's ridiculous, actually. I have no problem with people going ketogenic every now and then, but to suggest that that's our natural state is ridiculous. It's so easy to fall out of